Hey, my name is Frank, and this is what we did last night. I'm in my church's studio, and I'm actually testing this video here because I gotta make some videos for my students in a few moments. And I just wanted to make this video so you can tell you what I did last night, which is actually 2 nights ago, last Sunday night in Fuse. Hey, my name is Frank, and this is what we did last night. We had our leader meeting at 5:30, and then after that, students started coming in around 6. And we started the Youth Men playlist with all the songs that we have on there, playing as the kids come in while they're eating snacks and playing different games. And then about 15 minutes till 6:35, we started our countdown, which you can get below, which is probably going to be the countdown for the rest of this year, as we show these 15-minute countdowns leading up to just a black screen with a white countdown. Very rarely will I change that up, but it's a good countdown that you can get for free over at Life Church. After the countdown was over, we showed two videos. The first one was the history of the selfie, which was something that I got over from Elevation Church for their series that they did called Death to Selfie. And it's a very short 1-minute video that you could actually use as an intro to your message, but I decided to use this as just one of the funny videos. And it was just kind of like a really goofy, very, very short video about like the history of the selfie and making jokes about how some artists were obsessed with themselves. So you can check that video below. And then for the final funny video, which was hilarious, the kids loved it, was an old Pizza Hut commercial that came out sometime, I think last year or the year before, called The Dangers of the Selfie Stick. And it was just this really funny video of these people using selfie sticks and how it can be dangerous to use them. And the kids were laughing. They've never seen this commercial before. It was hilarious. If you're doing a series about selfies or social media or anything like that, check that video below. It's from Pizza Hut. It nailed. Check that out. After that, we played 2 games. The first game we played was called Over the Mountain, and I'll link below where I got the idea of Over the Mountain. But you've played probably a variation of this game where there's someone in the middle and everyone's in a circle sitting in a chair, and they had to say something like "Over the mountain" if you are wearing a black T-shirt, and everyone who's wearing a black T-shirt has to get up and find a different seat that's not directly next to them. And it's a fun way for kids to get to know each other. It's really goofy when kids say very specific things, and so they love this. This is a classic youth mystery game. You got to check it out. You have to play this. You can play with a small group or a large group. They love this one. Check it out. And then this game I played called Mystery Chair. I got the idea from Delmar Pete, but he got it from someone else. This is like an old school youth mystery game that you can only play once in your student ministry. So once you play this game, you can't play it again. So make sure when you play it, it's at the best time. Maybe at a big event or if you want to really cause a huge laugh. And so the way you play is that you get 4 or 5 people who have a very eccentric personality, maybe very dramatic, maybe they're theater kids or something like that. And then you each you send them outside and you give each one of them a different character to play, like a fighter pilot or someone giving birth or something just really goofy that involves a chair. And while they're out there learning their different roles, you have your kids in your room and you're telling them that what they think they're going to do is do these different roles, but what you're actually going to give them or what they're actually going to be doing is what they do when they go to the bathroom to go number 2. And so while these people are coming in pretending they're fighter pilots doing all this kind of stuff, they're actually, for what the rest of the group is thinking is, what do they do when they go to the restroom to go number 2? It was hilarious. The kids were laughing. I actually have a video of our group doing it, and you can check it out. They did such a good job. One was like riding like a rodeo, like it was a rodeo bull, and they fell off. The one where she was like giving birth, she was like, "It's coming," and it was hilarious. The kids loved it. You can only do it once. I can never play that game again, but once you do it, it's a guaranteed hard belly laugh for that night. So make sure you check that out. Do it if you can. If you haven't done it yet, if you have done it, well, maybe in your next future youth group you can play it. Check it out. After that, we broke our students up. Where high schools went off to the coffee shop and the junior hires stayed in the room. And my message was on, it was called Death to Selfie. So I used the media packages that Elevation Church has for their big service, where they has a series called Death to Selfie. But I didn't do their sermons or their messages. I literally wanted to use the title Death to Selfie in some of their artwork. And I kind of did my own message, kind of talking about social media and what kind of like is extremed or exaggerated by social media and dealing with our own lives. And so I talked about specifically the idea of envy and discontentment in our own life, and basically just preached a message from Philippians 4:13, Philippians 4 in general, where it talks about what we are to be content in Christ, and that our joy should be Him, and that contentment will weather through all kinds of storms. And so it was cool. Kids loved it. They loved the illustrations of the death to selfie, and using social media that kids can relate to talk about how our discontentment is bred from ourselves. And even, as James puts it, that this envy and discontentment and jealousy comes from the devil. It's demonic. And so using that to talk about how we should be grateful for what we have and be content in all of our lives, in all of these situations, and how our true contentment can only be found in Christ. So after that, went to high school, and after that, everybody had small groups, and they dove into small groups to talk about what they just learned. So great night. I'm looking forward for the next 3 weeks as we continue into this series of Death to Selfie and talk about how social media kind of like exaggerates some of these root deep sin issues that's within all of us, and how the Bible can give us victory in these different situations. Until next week, guys, I won't probably be in this cool studio, but I'll be somewhere shooting this video. So God bless you. I'll see you next week.